Alan Fetterman.
Oh, I have. Better stop it.
You want to bring your robot up and at least show him? Yes.
Sure. You can bring them up. Yeah, this is typical. That's typical. That's my typical day. Let's see this going.
Did you need to hit the thing on top? You got it? Switch screen?
Every time I switch screen, it goes bad.
So what do you need?
I can't see the screen. Oh, here it is. Got it. Yay. Finally.
Might help.
Except I'm not getting sound.
Oh yeah, the sense, you're not plugging. Oh, you're plugging. So you're not plugging.
Is this your video, Alan?
Yes, my video. Let's do it again. So, okay, Ubiquity Robotics has been working on something called Robot Commander, which works on both the web and both the phone. We developed it for our Magni robot to be something that the user could use out of the box as soon as we went back. And what we can do is set waypoints, which I did here, and it's locating itself. So like Camp did before, made a map of the room. And to get it to work, I have I'm making rules about ROS. So the first rule is ROS has no learning curve, ROS has a learning cliff. That's rule one. The second rule is
We don't discuss.
ROS is like stone soup. I don't know if you're familiar with the song Stone Soup, Tom Chapin. It's about this village that's very poor, they have no food, and one guy comes in and says, we can make a soup from a stone. And the guy brings a stone, they put it in a pot of water. Says somebody else has something to add. And somebody says, well, I have an old potato. And he said, well, I have an old soup bone. In the end, they add all these things together. In the end, they have a really sumptuous meal. So
That's Ross?
that's ROS, because all these things have come from different people that added. So an example of this is I couldn't get waypoints to work. So I was getting move forward, and I was getting move, but I wasn't getting moved to a distance because I wasn't establishing.
Fetterman out.
Yeah. Brain lock. Okay, so it was working partially, but not working all the way. I could tell it to turn, and it would turn endlessly and never stop. But if I told it to say turn right 90 degrees, it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't understand that. Or in some cases, I would say set a waypoint, and it would go, okay, fine. Then I'd say list waypoints, and it would come back, no waypoints found. So it turned out there's something in ROS called Action Lib, where it looks for specific interrupt messages, and that wasn't being added. So Rohan here and Jim Vaughn, were some of our clever programmers, figured out a way to add that, and what it's doing is combining odometry and other information, other sensor information. So we got it to work first on our big robots, our Magni robots. And
this is a test of Robot Commander. It's a
did everyone hear that?
app for Ubiquity Robotics Magni robots. I previously set the waypoint, and I also have upward.
This is your home.
Fiducials.
My wife hates those, so yeah, I take them down when she comes in.
By pressing the arrows.
Yeah, the arrow keys are set very slow for Magni for various
Also
reasons.
by doing voice commands. Rotate right 90 degrees.
Nice.
Forward 1 meter.
Oh, that's good.
Move it a little bit further away.
It's funny, if you move it outside the fiducials and you give it a voice command, it'll come back with a message, I cannot determine my pose. And it
What's running on the phone? What is the command
the
moving?
phone,
Are you running topics, or are you doing,
the phone is going over WebSockets to the robot,
Okay, website. Okay.
but the voice is going off to Google.
Yes, but then it comes back.
And that comes back. So that was the go home command, and it went home. And it does pretty well. It does pretty well. So the difference is,
Brew Robotics, Magni robots.
so just to say, this is was when I was doing it on a web page.
Yeah, this is what my days looking like, guys. Yeah, this is what my days looking like, guys.
Okay. So it's like, I guess, a third rule of Ross. If you think you understand Ross, you don't understand Ross.
That should be rule number 1.
Yeah. Well, maybe say, if you think you got something working, you probably don't have it working yet.
Oh,
So that's, yeah, it's starting to come together, And I was able, unfortunately, I wasn't able to demonstrate it here because I need a little bit better control over the internet. And if I just go to my, I can connect to that robot, but then I don't have my voice commands because it won't go out. It insists on doing it over Wi-Fi and not going over 4G.
You couldn't make it to Google?
It couldn't make it to go to Google.
Isn't that ironic?
Well, no, they don't want every single
I know, I
port
understand.
open.
I'm trying to be funny.
Well, you are funny. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Alan runs the SV Ross meetings on the penultimate Wednesdays. The HBRC SIG Special Interest Group has kind of joined in with SV Ross. We meet at the tech shop in Redwood City. So this is 1 week before the real meeting. Those of you interested in Ross, come to it.
And there's a open SV Ross challenge that Camp and I are not eligible for.
What? Oh, the free
Because
XV11.
it's a free XV11.
All right.
And the challenge is to somebody write the code that responds to the bumper press. So we actually now, with the LiDAR, have a void obstacle going forward. That's working now. But we don't have anyone subscribing to the bumper presses, which are a topic that's being listed. So if somebody figures out how to do that, they can get an XV11. Of course, you probably need an XV11 to test it.
Do not attempt Ross on your own. Come to this SV Ross group. It's a really fine group. We're all struggling together. Alan, you'll come up and show us Magni during the run what you brought, just to show it off. Okay. All right, so Marco, you've got a floor bot? Talk louder.
You know, a quick word, ROS is as complicated as you want it to be, so I would encourage people to use it because you can build upon it and just keep adding modules and reuse your own modules. I'd put in a big plus for ROS.
Yay.
Yeah. So I have another
I don't work for them.
little Nido without the Nido part. It has the LiDAR, but that's all the Nido parts on it. Otherwise, it is a Raspberry Pi 3 connected to a Bluetooth gamepad, running ROS.
Tell us what you're going to do, Marco.
I will try pretty much the same thing as Kemp tried. I did the web run
Okay.
before,
So this is a Floorbot Challenge Phase 1 attempt.
so I have
You mark that down
Similar
so you get your
map.
certificate of achievement.
and I'm going to try just to find
Do we know where the fire extinguishers are?
Whoa, is it going?
It's coming behind.
Is that its path?
Yeah, it's coming behind me.
Oh, boy.
I think
He's
maybe.
taking the road, yeah, the pathless. How does that go?
Path less traveled.
Oh, no, there's a table there that wasn't there before. You got trouble, man. Oh, look at that.
No, I think he did the math after that.
Yeah, the table was there before, but I don't know how well it went out.
You got traps. Got traps galore here. Kind of exciting.
Can we move the camera to it?
Bill, can you get the camera on the robot?
Well, not that one. I got this one. I'm not controlling that one.
I think it lost its place.
Little teleop twist.
You know, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think. It lost its position.
So you have to reset its pose.
Yeah. So,
What's this robot's name, Marco?
this one does not actually have a name. It was actually built out of a group project out of Livermore.
Okay.
So we had
We'll name it
about
Livermore.
8 of those kind of pizza based robots. So that's position 1. Let's see if I can go to the other side.
Really good carpet traction for such little wheels, actually.
That's the trick. They are so small.
Well, you're lightweight.
No, actually, I'm. What's going on? Yes.
you have to jump start him there?
Yeah, it sees sometimes obstacles which are not there, and then. So I pretty much stole the Botwag code, but all the dimensions of that robot are different, and it just works with
Very nice.
the new measurements.
Homebrew. It's actually homebrew. That's very nice.
So,
So you've got the camera on the front too.
I've got a camera on there.
Can you show us your map?
The map is. Somehow it lost its position.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. You gotta be quicker than that.
What are you doing?
Look at the scanner.
Oh, that's it.
Doesn't work so well yet.
He didn't make it to the other end.
No, it lost its.
You're not going to get phase one.
Yeah.
All right, next
Have a
month.
good week.
Next month. This is your